Yeah, we've got to talk about this Luminosity squad, though, first, coming up into the match against M80. I mean, I think Dante specifically, a very close personal friend of mine, someone I'm expecting to see a lot of. Might see False come in as well in the tank role. Friend of the show, definitely. King and Vision, though, I really want to highlight this DPS pairing. I think they're incredibly strong. Vision has been on the come up on Hitscan for quite a while. Been a player I was kind of watching out for in ranked since a long time ago. King as well, very consistent flex DPS player, very solid. And then on the other side, support, you got Juby and Squid. Juby with experience in the Overwatch League, playing at a high level. And Squid, another one of the hottest support prospects, I think, coming up out of the NA region. And we've seen how well some of these young performers have been. So for me, LG really has pieces to put together here.
Yeah, you kind of took my talking point, because if you consider the best hitscan players, you probably say Hydron, like we're seeing here on M80 and Seek here in North America. But Vision is vying for that spot. So if Vision has a great performance against a squad like this with Hydron, Pelican, Hawk, Ultraviolet, this is one of the most giga-stacked rosters we have in the OWCS. And probably going into OWCS, you'd say that this could be a squad that could challenge the likes of Toronto Defiant here in the North American region. I think we're in for a really good one on our hands, though. As much as M80, they have incredible name value. They have been performing really well in scrims from what we've seen from these Scrimco streamers. I do think that Luminosity could give them a real good game here. On the side of M80, I know we're seeing a lot of Pelican and Hydron, but don't forget about Spectre as well, who was part of Toronto Defiant last year. Spectre has been really good so far, and we will see them swap up their damage lineup depending on what kind of flexibility they need.
Yeah, Spectre had a breakout performance, and Pelican, of course, one of the hottest DPS players we've ever had in the Overwatch League, a top-tier performer on pretty much every hero you put the guy on. I will say, though, for the Korean players on M80, still, I believe, playing on ping. So that'll be a challenge they have to navigate here as they try and punch their ticket to DreamHack. I know that'll mean a lot to them being able to play on LAN, get the whole team together. So definitely anybody's series up for grabs here, M80 versus Luminosity Gaming. You're going to have to see it.
Yeah, both teams have stacked roster. I think it is a certified Giga Banger. So everybody, let's jump right into the game. And for this match, we got Jaws and Matt as our casters.
Thanks, Danny. We're back. Matt, how does it feel, man?
Why, thank you, Danny.
We're back.
What do you mean? How does it? What do you mean?
Back.
How does it feel? I expect it to be alive and back today.
Yeah.
This isn't a surprise.
Oh.
You need some of Danny's America energy, I feel like. Danny is so excited for NA. Also, the fact that, like, NA also has, like, parts of, Canada and South America. Danny just focuses on America.
Yeah. 18 shots of espresso will do that to you, but yeah.
Yeah, that would. This should be an awesome match, though, to kick things off.
Yes.
No, we had a great match to end yesterday. This should be another one that is equally as close.
Yeah, M80 had quite the run. If you're thinking back to the group stages, they had an extremely close game against Timeless, and they actually came out second in that group overall after Timeless beat them out. So I like Johnny's point in saying that there's a lot of veteran talent on this team, a lot of players that you'd expect to do extremely well against the likes of Toronto Defiant, but I think they got a little bit more to prove here in the upper bracket. Luminosity Gaming, Dante, friend of the show, and a lot of hot prospects too, including Vision, which is, I think, a lot of people have got their eye on now. It might be a bit of a tough ask for M80. We'll see if kind of M80 have found their groove, and I think that's what today is really going to cement, Matt. Of course, Toronto Defiant will be their opposition if they manage to make it through after this game.
Did you find it a little bit odd that Jake didn't say that Juby's a friend of the show as well?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Well,
yeah, they're cool. They're cool like that.
Jake is so selective. I feel like everybody here is a friend of the show.
Yeah, everybody on the screen, apart from me sometimes, Matt. When you,
I mean, you said that. I didn't say it.
Well, you were thinking it is the problem, Matt.
No, not true. Zarya here into the Orisa. So we saw like a lot of Orisa yesterday. I think we'll continue to see a lot of Orisa. Oh yeah. It's just how can they kind of keep Hawk, with that armor on, right? As you see, they get really aggressive, just like how the desk was talking about.
No
find
TP.
the target that can't exactly move and speed right at him, and they find one early.
No swift step for Squid there. Yeah, even received the bubble from Dante, and like you said, just kind of ran them down. I mean, this comp does extremely well. M80s is looking at one target and then just kind of running at them. Dante is there more to help and facilitate the rest of his team. Hawk's there to really initiate and engage with the Orisa, try and push people back. Nice little cab for M80. It's going to be a pretty tough ask for Luminosity here without King kind of getting a pick off to really do much, because Orisa, unbelievably hard to take down. And with King going down like that, I mean, that's just a reset angle.
Yeah, I mean, you lose the Tracer right at the start. I mean, these are the types of things, though, that Pelican can do, right? We know how talented he is. And look at Lep taking that position all the way up there, like in the skybox, basically blocked by the UI.
Oh, yeah, what?
Looking for a boop as he's going to come down. Yeah.
Do they know? No, they do not. Dante on the ground. King gets a little bit of revenge there. Dante's the main focus. Lep did receive the Suzu to stay alive. And as Hydron duels out in the skies against Juby, is also forced to retreat back to the point. He's got Vision in his sights, but where's the support? UV does end up teleporting back to him, but that just leaves Hawk on an island to get taken out by the rest of Luminosity. M80 kind of scattering a little bit there. Focus fire, not really being able to pin anybody down either, especially losing Pelican that early too. They lost a lot of control of that fight.
I also think maybe getting a little bit too cute there for M80, right? Like the Lucio in the skybox coming down with like a boop, like possibly works against some teams, but no Luminosity.
Right.
No, they were not really kind of moved by that, as they're able to battle back, get the point. Now, double support. All right, you win this fight, you got to grab for the next one. Maybe even build it up and use it in this fight. You're right back in things if you're Luminosity.
Yeah, this pulse one's going to be hard to land, Matt, as there's two bubbles to kind of get through. There's one, just saw Dante use it. Rush on the point for Luminosity, but are they going to make good use of it? That's the question. I mean, decently, Dante is kind of standing in there chilling, but I don't think he wants to be there at all. Actually just throws out the grab as Hydron tries to deal with the DPS on the back lines. Managed just to snipe Vision, but King is there to return the favor. As, well, Hawk does what Hawk does best on the Orisa. It's just pushing Dante around, bullying them. That Graviton Surge, it did find someone, Matt, but not exactly a squishy target that you can all in on after it.
Yeah, it's just wild to think about, like, the arc of Orisa in terms of basically completely stationary tank at one point, just shield standing there, and now just like a speed demon into the back line, just can play so aggressive that it's a completely different place, a completely different hero. It looks like Pelican trying to set up maybe a blink to the high ground here with that pulse bomb. Knows at least two players are lurking.
Yeah, he's got his eye on Juby and King. And they're staring straight back at him. Receiving a little bit of support there from UV. Every now and then some cars being thrown towards his direction. King, though, takes a kunai square to the dome. And now Dante's the target again. There's the pulse. It did end up connecting. A lot of bubbles there for Dante, but now he's flat out of them. They just got to be able to find that focus fire. Pelican just can't land a kill. Eventually manages to pick off UV, and it's up to M80 now to force Luminosity to come to them. The point does end up getting flipped here. Pelican just trying to distract for as long as possible. A bit of a bloodthirsty battle, but Luminosity win out in the end with 50% in building now.
Yeah, and the Zarya, like, if you can get both bubbles off, or at least conserve the bubbles for when, like, Hawk goes in and then Pelican as well, like, you can start to ramp up on this Zarya. Like, think about how we talked about how the Symmetra you can ramp up, right? You can start to get the Zarya really healthy. It's Suzu there, just to keep, look like it was King alive, as he's hunting for Pelican. Yeah, Pelican, they are going to meet each other in that small corridor, but looks like they're going to separate, go their separate ways, at least for the time being. Just waiting for that rush to kind of wear off, and now you can go with the rush of your own. It's exactly what happens. However, Hydron's already dead. The trade onto Dante is going to be good, though, as Hawk can now plant himself firmly on the point with that Terror Surge. And if he from Luminosity, it would be a fool to walk towards him, but they're going to have to touch. OT is here as M80 do manage to find the flip. A nice stick onto Vision, though. Where'd he go? Vision didn't even see King. I mean, look, doesn't really need to now. Dante, Hawk, I mean, they're having a nice honorable duel in the front lines, but Hawk has to back all the way up. That pulse bomb kill from King there was absolutely massive as Luminosity finds the flip again. Yeah, and that's one where, you got to keep King alive here as he backs out just a second, where Juby has the sound barrier and they just kind of like let Dante die, like within the rush. Maybe it was just a, not have the line of sight on him, as it'll be Hawk will step up, take point. This grab could be pretty huge. Vision with the overclock, can't quite find the shot, does land a headshot onto Hydron, but received the beat just in time to survive. Speaking of overclocks, Hydron's going to rip his now, a little bit of revenge maybe, but Dante says not today. Actually just locks him into the grab and jumps towards him. They end up trading out, and once again, Hawk's left, basically alone on the point, and can do what he pleases. Vision finds yet another kill, but where's the staying power for Luminosity right now? Vision's trying to play point guard for his support. King does come up with yet another kill, but no.
No slide for Vision. Well, he had the slide, but didn't quite get there in the end, as Hawk was able to just basically sit there and wait for Luminosity to barrel into him. Losing Dante so early on in that fight again, not working out well for Luminosity.
Yeah, you can see they're really putting a lot of the focus on getting Dante out of these fights. And when they're able to keep him alive, good things obviously happening for Luminosity. I would say outside of that, Vision had a really nice first round on the Sojourn. Hydra and, and really Vision, nice, that'll be a really good head-to-head matchup to look at throughout the series.
Yeah, really. I love seeing Sojourn, man. I was talking to Jake in the green room earlier on. I think it's one of my favorite heroes just to watch and spectate. Just the amount you can do with the slide and the railgun.
High praise from you.
Yeah, what are you saying?
Hero you like. Hero you like.
Oh my god.
Let's go to another hero you like, Maga here for M80. So a little bit of a throwback here to last week. Maga, Sim in the Reburn. You see how much pressure they're just putting up on Dante, just firing with both chain guns as they're trying to keep him up.
Oh, it looks ridiculous. I mean, Hydron can melt the shields, but his health bar gets melted a little quicker than he expected by the looks of it. Dive in from Hawk, trading pretty favorably, but without a tank, it's going to be tough for M80 really to make anything stick here. They can speed away, of course, still having their Lucio alive and well. And with Pelican, I can imagine they have the shift, but Lev going super low. You're just about stalling out here for as long as you can, and stall they did, is Dante's actually going to end up falling. Luminosity just needed to find the kills. They needed to clean up that fight a lot quicker than they did, and M80 come back, and they cap the point.
I mean, just finding his second kill on the point, right? They end up getting the first kill. They control some of the high ground. They move back down to the point. And they get a few players weak, but never really kind of picking a target and chasing that player down, allowing M80 to just kind of stay in the fight. And that ends up allowing Hawk to come back on the Maga. Ends up winning it. This will be a TP to the opposite side high ground. Both these comps with the Sim want to fight on the point.
This rush is going to be super rough to fight into as well. And Juby seems to agree. Escorts himself away from the fight, but escorts himself away from his entire team. But you got to imagine at that point, Luminosity are kind of thinking it's done. That fight, at least, they end up resetting after M80 used the rush.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like the key, right? They see they use the rush. They're in a position there where they're probably not going to invest in anything. You give up 50%, right? You win the next two fights, though, and you're back at even footing. So that's kind of the thinking here. If you're Luminosity, give yourself a big advantage in terms of ults.
Yeah, the Simcom just wants to sit on the point, Matt. So all they want to do is sit on the point with the wall or the ult. Oh, speaking of ults, though, where did Pelican come from? Straight from above, straight on top of their heads. Squid for rush use for a Squid? Sure thing, no worries. I've got a Suzu on top of me, so I'm immortal for a brief window, and a double kill for Pelican. And damage on top, too.
Yeah. The rush comes down, and then Hawk just uses the Maga charge directly into it. Just face first into that fight where we thought the Maga would be dead, but we've seen teams actually do really nice jobs. I think it's more situational than all the time.
They TP out.
Cage fight here in the close quarters.
Vision does receive the beat there, but the TP, he couldn't take it in time. He's still frying people in the front line, though. Let's get a quick M80 listening in this fight.
Come back. Help me. I'll be back sooner. Give him TP. Fuck. I'm dead.
Oh, my bad. A little rough, a little my bad at the end there. M80 ended up losing that fight. I mean, the Annihilation on the point. Not as deadly as the Blizzard, but it's good enough. King swapping over to the Echo as well now. I really like this into the Mauga comms. You get so much ult charge so quickly just shooting at the Mauga, and pretty easy to focus down as well if you got that focusing beam.
Yeah, that's something the desk was talking about a little bit earlier. We saw Sugarfree run the Echo a lot yesterday. I know it may just deter teams from actually switching over to the Maga. I think it's just kind of like, how do you keep that Echo alive, right? Right now it's Hydron picking up the Sojourn. Well,
I'm sorry.
It's a trade, though, so you're in a decent spot. Was that
he just
punt? It almost looked like he's doing the punch.
He just died to the wasps coming out of the staff of Ramantra. Pelican's got Death Blossom. M80 find the flip. No way you can fight on point now if you're Luminosity, not against those ultimates. That rush going down was key to them capping there. Ultraviolet does manage to TP away. Had a nice little off angle. But that sound barrier, yeah, Matt, will be important. There's the Death Blossom. Nice little Suzu. Sound barrier comes out as well. That Death Blossom perfectly negated as Hawk ends up falling for M80. 99%. It's going to be a pretty easy flip here from Luminosity. Use their rush a little bit later there. And Luminosity still have ults for this next fight. And they could very well make this the last one as well. This dupe can be deadly.
Yeah, and I'm curious, I was going to say, if M80 feels the need to swap here, which they just have... Okay, Pelican looked like he was going to mirror the Echo, where realistically, Echo v Echo in the sky, sure, you can take that fight, but you'd almost rather be the Tracer against the Echo, as M80, nothing really to work with here outside of this beat, so gonna have to probably try and take some position on the point, get some damage down, maybe a big Maga charge, and then the sound barrier.
Vision trying to find the stick. There it is. Does land. Hits the Suzu, though. And there's the sound barrier to try and march him forward. A sound barrier, both the copy and the pulse bomb. You take that. Lep coming up with a massive sound barrier, and Hawk finishing up with a couple of kills. I mean, that's just M80 running away with this. That duplication not finding anything at all, Matt. A dupe onto the Mauga. Definitely nerfed with this new Mauga hotfix, but that found next to naught. M80 are just going to run him over, and a 99-99 will be M80 taking the first map 2-0.
Yeah, and I think it's like the position that you end up in as the Echo right after that, right? You end up like on the point, and definitely not where the Echo wants to be fighting whatsoever. So you end up in that really, tough position where you have to fight on the point, you use that Maga duplicate, you don't really get much value out of it. You end up back on the point as the Echo, and that's a pretty clear kill to be able to pick off.
Yeah, really nice stuff from Lep there, landing the perfect beat. And then the Suzu from Ultraviolet too, saving from pulse bombs. That's what the Kiriko Suzu 99% of the time feels like in this meta. Oh, you land a pulse Suzu. Oh, pulse Suzu, right? I mean, it's the perfect counter to that ultimate. And then the sound barrier to follow up is just Luminosity Gaming throwing everything in the kitchen sink there at that final fight. And M80 ended up taking that first one 2-0. It's going to be a close series though, Matt. Or the Matt. This is going to be a close.
I'm Map.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my new name. I am.
You got two of the same letters,
so excited
bro.
for the map set and the map veto that I've just become Map as well.
Well, I'm definitely not excited for you though, so that does kind of add up.
See, that's the second mean comment. Second mean comment of the day. Binion, keeping track. I got my scoreboard ticker at home. So I mean, this was nasty, right? Rush comes down from Luminosity. Pelican Death Blossom from the high ground with the Maga charge on the other side. Yeah. Then Juby with a nice sound barrier here, right? That's another Death Blossom, gets around the pole, still keeps within line of sight of everybody. So Luminosity had some really good moments, played it tough even against that Maga comp. It's just in the end, I mean, right here, this is a pretty tough fight. Yeah,
really tough. That sound barrier perfectly timed by Lep. I mean, look, Mauga, Ram, it's a tough matchup. I think I'd still put it in the favor of Ram, especially if you're going super fast. Just forcing the Kiriko to use the Swift Steps, like, super important. Even obviously using the Suzu too. We'll see what they want to go to a different map, because Control, it's a bit to and fro, and especially Village, which is a bit more of a unconventional map, I should say, with a lot of like sim kind of teleport plays are enabled by that map, just on the topology. But when we go to Midtown as our next map, Matt, like, what do you expect to see? Are we going to see a little bit more Mauga, or are we going to see maybe some dive?
So I actually think that for Luminosity there is quite unfortunate, because like that point doesn't tend itself well to Echo generally at all. But like if Echo's the counter to Maga, you're kind of like, stuck between a rock and a hard place, especially if you don't want to mirror. Echo, you can get really good value here on Midtown. So I would actually expect to probably see Hawk play like more of the Orisa based stuff, knowing that there's probably potential for an Echo on the other side. Yeah,
Orisa does feel like what is meta right now in terms of the tank role. Definitely a lot of teams still trying to figure out the Mauga to see if it's still like super good, but Orisa seems like the safer pick right now and the more beneficial pick, especially like look at round number 1, right? Dante wins Zarya, and then, well, Hawk just chooses Orisa and then bullies the Zarya around. It's like, okay, you have to use bubbles, but it's tough when you need to use them on yourself because you're getting cornered.
Orisa just seems to be the safest pick at the moment, right? Like it may not be the best overall, right, in terms of like strongest like individual tank, but in terms of dealing with lots of different things that, you know, can be thrown out, it seems to be the best, like, overall, you know, well-rounded tank at the moment. So typically when we've seen, you know, whether it be, you know, Overwatch League or some of the top teams in OWCS, like whatever the safest comp is that they don't have to change, you know, loads of stuff after. If it doesn't work, keep going. That's kind of what we see teams tend to go for.
Yeah, and I think you are right as well. It's definitely going to be a lot more Echo too. Just makes the most sense. A lot of really good duplicate targets. Although, to be fair, we've seen an enormous amount of Lucio dupes over the last couple of days, it feels like, or the last couple of weeks. Like, just random Lucio dupes. It can work, don't get me wrong, but probably not the highest value. We're going to jump to a quick break, though. Don't go anywhere. We've got Midtown coming up. Just giving the players a couple of minutes here.
It's time to blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Welcome back. Midtown up next. M80 taking an early lead in the series, a 2-0 on Control. Luminosity still looking good though. I mean, it was a very, very close final round. It was Lep saving the day for M80 with a perfectly timed sound barrier. But here we go. Midtown it is. And yeah, Matt, we were talking about it just before we went to the break, but a little bit more Orisa. And honestly, with the DPS lineups, for both teams, in fact, incredible flexibility. Like, especially players like Pelican too. My God, that guy can play anything.
Yeah, I mean, Pelican's sick, right? We've known that for a while now. It looks like at least here off the start, so we'll talk a little bit more about Luminosity right there on D. They'll run that Zarya yet again. So they did have some success with that Zarya in play. I think it's just, you know, maybe even giving Dante a little bit more resources to live. I know he's using those bubbles both offensively and defensively. I know whether it be on like King, maybe trying to stay in the back line a little bit longer, or protecting the supports on his side of things. M80 looks to be hovering that Orisa-based composition that they used on map number 1. So, you know, some differences here in terms of like, you know, seeing the tank difference, but in terms of the DPS and support, nothing else.
Yeah, no real shock there. Not too much of a surprise. Hydron and Pelican, Sojourn, Tracer, and Vision King, Sojourn, Tracer. You love to see it. Yeah, Dante, at least on this map as well.
Sojourn just having the ability.
No, go on.
No, I mean, Sojourn just having the ability to just like burst targets down like within, you know, seconds of, you know, just building up some charge, and then also being able to escape and then kind of like a deterrent to a push there with a disruptor shot. Like she's always going to be around, just like Tracer, where Hawk takes pretty much all of his armor and he has to back out, and then they're going to lose Pelican.
Dude, he's taking so much. He kind of stepped onto the point and was like, oh, I'm half HP. Tried to step back out, and Ultraviolet was just pumping him full of heals. You can tell like the ult charge looking rather topped up there for UV. All right, we're going to go again. It was small kill on Luminosity's side, meaning M80 had to go for a small reset here. Luckily, though, they're going to get quite a few attempts. The comp does go pretty fast. Hydron full energy right now, trying to force Dante to use bubbles, but from this distance, very unlikely to do so. Although saying that, looks like a small off angle from Hawk there did force at least one of them. And And there's the second one as well. All right, King goes down to a kunai there from UV, and this positioning from Hydron too is just absolutely stellar. It's forcing Luminosity behind this big red truck here, and actually they're going to push the rush and push the tempo up to the maximum here, trying to push Hawk away from the point. Does take the mega health back and actually lose Lep on the rotation.
Yeah, Hawk was actually quite low and had to back out into that mega health pack area because he knows that Dante is like pretty well charged. His Vision putting down some nice shots again. No, really nice first map there for Vision on the Sojourn, but yet again getting off to a good start where, you know, when Hawk loses that armor and then Dante's charged up, he is going to just chunk down.
Oh, both those overclocks being ripped, and King, only just a moment ago did he spawn, but he's straight back. Sound barrier for Juby though, and look at that. Dante already immediately pushed away. There was no chance for Dante to enter that fight. Hawk just spun the spear, walked at him, and Dante couldn't do anything but hold on tight and hope he survived. And unfortunately, he didn't. 4 minutes to go now as they unlock that payload, they get it rolling. And because it was quite a quick team wipe, Matt, there's going to be an early rotation up to high ground for M80.
I mean, Dante had 2 bubbles in sound barrier there and just melted. I mean, just the damage with the overclock. There's also a Kitsune rush for M80 in the mix, and then Hawk able to just displace spear, do damage. I mean, that's where you see the Orisa shine is it's going to be M80. They're going to just give up the high ground at this point. Is King going to go maybe look for a pulse bomb here? Throwing it on the Hawk feels like a little bit of a waste.
Yeah, definitely, especially when all the armor is left. Did hear a pulse bomb go off though? It was King's, and yeah, no pulse bomb
Luminosity
kill.
giving up a lot of space here.
They are, yeah. Very happy with M80 just moving underneath here. At least there's going to be a little bit of a distance between the 2 hit scans, I suppose, but nice rotation from M80, seeing that Luminosity have backed all the way up. Graviton Surge available for Dante, but still doesn't want to throw at a Hawk. Can be eaten by the Spear Spin, of course. Speaking of which, there it goes. Fortify have been used. Oh, dragged straight back in. Hawk says, come to me. That Graviton Surge from Dante went in, sure, but Hawk tried to close the door once again with that Terror Surge, but it was actually Dante that come up big once again with the kills. Nice shot by Vision, wow. Good positioning too. Super far forward to try and catch the exits.
Yeah, if you're M80 though, it's you probably don't really feel too terrible about that, right? Like, look at how much payload progress they got for relatively just one, fight. You've the pulse bomb here from Pelican could be huge with the way that we know that he plays on the Tracer. Seems to always land a pulse bomb, and then they have a Kitsune rush. Like, if you can just get to the payload, I think that's like kind of the thing, right? Keep everybody alive, maybe force some of the high ground control here for themselves, and then use the rush. You can probably get second checkpoint.
Yeah, and they're setting themselves up for exactly that, it looks like. Luminosity giving up the high ground very quickly. Just see the Hawk throwing javelins at Dante. There you go, there's 1 bubble forced already, and that Kitsune rush layering most of the point, or at least next to it. Oh, there was no chance for Squid to survive there. Pelican already in the back line too, causing quite a ruckus as that point is capped. I feel like fairly easily again. 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Yep. Normally that second checkpoint is just such a chokehold on this map, but M80 looking quite good right now, and they're flowing through this map quite quickly.
I mean, it's literally one fight, right? I know they get that, they pretty much get their payload all the way to that second checkpoint, then they just end up, losing, in essence, right? But really, forcing some of the ultimates out and getting an ultimate advantage, coming back, just getting a good use of the rush, and that's it. And you're able to quickly take that second checkpoint. So a little bit less than 3 minutes on the clock here for M80, and they're still in a pretty healthy spot in terms of ultimates to get another fight win.
Oh, Dante, the main focus for Hydron right now, saving that power side to get away from that sound barrier. Dante just marching on forward, but already that over shield or over health from both Lucio sound barriers has already dissipated. Nice little spear again. Vision still on the hunt for a headshot. He's being quite aggressive here, but knows he has the power slide to back him up. But there's Hawk trying to go over Vision. Kitsune rush being ripped too. Terror Surge. Oh, leap away, and Hawk instantly just getting evaporated. I mean, Terror Surge, yeah, you got that extra little bit of fortify there, Matt. That's all great, Hawk and all, but the problem is there's a rush in front of your face and the fully charged railgun.
Yeah, you can tell like Hawk's trying to get into positions where he doesn't take like large chunks of, his HP pool before you can, really engage on the opponents, right? Kind of goes in from that side angle, basically runs around the corner, spear spin into a fortify, tries to pin one, and then now has no more cooldown, so then has to use the Terror Surge to kind of get another fortify, but just kind of crumbles over amongst all that pressure that's coming on through. But I know that is the Kitsune Rush gone from Luminosity. Luminosity still holds on to this grab, so we'll see how Dante wants to use it.
Yeah, it's been a tough ask for Dante to get one of these grabs off. Past Hawk is going to be a bit of a problem, but only needs to catch one. You only need to go for one. Might be a Hydron too. It's extremely low on the sidelines. Dante with a quick bubble onto King as King tried to follow up on that damage from Dante's right clicks. There's the spear pin. Dante uses that momentum to just jump back onto the floor here. Graviton Surge, perfectly placed, but where's the kills? There they are. A big right click into that grab. Both DPS succumbing to the high charge Zarya. A minute to go now for M80. Still got another big chance here, but Luminosity, their ult bank is looking clean. Only used one in that fight, and they got overclock and a sound barrier coming up.
Well, just like how we talk about, you know, Terror Surge, right? Like inside of the rush, like, you know, they actually have to kind of like run down that alley. You can do really nice things. So the same thing kind of with a graph. That time though, Luminosity, they back out once that Kitsune Rush comes through. The spear spin already gone, and then you know it's pretty safe to throw that grab in the mix. And Ultraviolet going to go to the Baptiste here, so a little bit of extra, you know, more health to try and keep Hawk up.
Just got Luminosity listening on this last 30 seconds though.
We can swing with Surge whenever.
Live, there's live. Can. Yeah, disable. Oh, don't carry me, guys.
I'm on Lucio. Lucio 1.
The one.
He's bit.
Where's this the one? I'm dead.
Try me.
Coming back for Surge, all of you live.
Luan. Dead.
Nice. Are you living?
I
have Surge all soon.
One. Nice. Next.
One.
I'm dead.
I'm gonna go on.
Play together.
Yeah.
Trey on me.
Okay.
Trey low.
He's one, bap, really one.
I'm pushing more.
Bap one.
I'm gonna drop him. He's dead.
Lucio.
Widowman.
Okay, Widowman, yeah. Alright, nice.
Nice good guys.
Did you not have the...
Just surviving at the very end. That's all you need to do. Just wait for the spawners to come in, Matt. And that's kind of demonstrated perfectly there as Dante leaps back into action on the Doomfist.
You know what I love about that listening is, you know, I believe it's, you know, we're watching from Vision's POV and you know, don't know all the voices, but assume it's him since we're watching him and shoot the BAP. When he calls the BAP is really one, just gives the acknowledgement that sometimes when you call people one shot, they're not actually one shot. It's like, no, guys, seriously.
He's really one.
That guy actually is one. No, seriously, he's one. I feel like, you know, he's one shot as, you know.
There are 3 call-outs
from like
in Overwatch.
40 HP down is
exactly.
He's one shot, I feel like, at this point.
They're low, which means they're anywhere between 90% HP and 50%. They're 1, which means, what, 50 to maybe 30? And then real 1 is like maybe 10% HP, you know? Like, there's a... You have to be very specific.
And now C9 is when somebody doesn't finish an objective, it's just a C9 at this point.
Everything's a C9. Everything is yeah, exactly. Every term is getting just melded into 1. It's all good. Enough time has passed. People forget. It's fine. Good defense.
I don't think they've forgotten.
Nah, well, that's true. Yeah, that's true, yeah. I, myself, have a memory of a goldfish, so I have forgotten. Oh, don't die. Oh!
That's, I mean...
Oh, okay. All right, okay, chill. Everybody chill out. That is...
Pretty good start there.
That is not great. That is
not ideal.
That hasn't happened in a while where you get spawn picks like that. That is a free ticket.
Mitch and I had one, I think, like last week, where it was like a King's Row Widowmaker just shot a Sombra. Like the Sombra was just standing there, fired some shots, and the same type of thing happened.
2 ticks for free. That is the freest 2 ticks you will ever see on Midtown. Nice push here. No bubbles, yeah. They're definitely calling no bubbles right now. Easy cleanup from Mr. Hawk. Oh, they do end up killing Hydron, but it shouldn't matter all too much. I mean, you're still happy about that if you Luminosity, even if you lose that fight, Matt. That's 2 free ticks in a minute. Less than that.
Yeah, I mean, it is, they just need to kind of like either, these players need to stay alive or get out. because they are in a really dangerous spot. Both supports there, actually, over on the side. So now that you just need to get one extra tick, I mean, you can play a lot, more loose if you're Luminosity, right? But you see they're just gonna pressure Dante down.
God.
When he doesn't have both bubbles for himself, I mean, he is screwed right there.
Oh, King?
King? Two supports?
Wait. King just gets the double kill on the back line. Where's the heal, son? King with a quick ace, potentially? I mean, he just almost killed the entire team. There's 4 kills. Where's the 5th? Give me the 5th. Give me the 5th. Pelican in his sights. Oh, stolen by Vision. But we'll take it, King. 4 kills for the Tracer, although it does end up getting shut down. Still a chance there for M80 to maybe get back into this one, but with 33% looking extremely unlikely, King just went absolute psycho on the back line.
Yeah, that was insane. You know what? They pretty much win the first point off of Vision getting a Widow shot into Ultraviolet at the start, and then King essentially getting an ace, just running through everybody. Gets both supports and Hawk. Just a really tremendous play there from King, and that's going to allow Luminosity here, second part of the map. They're definitely behind in terms of some key ultimates here. Really just kind of looking at like the tank ones, but. Look at this, M80 not doing what Luminosity decided to do. Luminosity gave up so much space, on their defense and allowed them to just kind of push on forward. M80 not doing the same, but it'll be King again winning, another big fight.
King just keeps on killing. This overclock from Vision did find a couple of little headshots there, but nothing substantial. Dante, like you said, Matt, is just moving the payload. Okay, finally someone shut him down. It was left at the end of it. There's the rush on the point. Hawk is in a whole lot of trouble, surrounded by members of Luminosity right now. Does manage to spear spin and push Dante away. Terror Surge is good enough as well, just pulling everybody in, giving Hawk some extra sustainability too. His ability to bully Dante is just unreal. Dante can't really get much damage in. He's firing as much as he can at Hawk, but Hawk just has so many defensive countermeasures. They end up winning that fight, and more importantly as well, maintain control of this high ground too. A fairly clean fight for them, with Luminosity going for a full reset.
Yeah, I mean, Dante can get charged up on that Zarya, but yes, he's obviously both bubbles to do it, and then he has nothing defensively able to keep him alive, and then that's when they decide to run him down. Like,
good grab.
Spear spin, yeah, just connect one with the grab, and that's a big kill.
Yep, good grab. Wrong place, wrong time for Hydron there. Hawk getting pressured a little bit out too. Dante is super high charge. No bubble though to save Vision as he gets pulse bombed, and now M80 want to pressure the backline once again. Use that sound barrier to push Dante to his absolute limits. 100 charge on the Zarya, but you can't just burn down Hawk like that. 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go, and M80 still holding on to this high ground.
Yeah, and the high ground is key. I mean, you see the difference in terms of the defensive setups, right? Where M80 wants to play, way more aggressive, active here on the high ground, drop down. And Luminosity played a little bit more defensive on their end, where they gave up so much cart progress. And now we're going to see Dante actually match here in terms of the Orisa. So get a chance to see what this looks like in the head-to-head.
Yeah, Dante Orisa now. Looks like a rare sight. Not that rare, but it feels like it. King with a pulse bomb in his back pocket right now, with 2 minutes to go. M80 pretty close to losing this point, but it's still going to be tough for Luminosity to kind of flood out into the wide open space as Hawk and the rest of M80 just looking down upon them. Looks like Dante's going to try and push the back line. Ultraviolet using that Suzu already to protect himself from the Orisa, plus this railgun coming through from Vision too. Now they have to contend with a rush on the point. M80 are going to have to be able to touch here. Vision's forced to slide away. The Terror Surge is good for Hawk to create some space, but where's the damage? Where's the follow-up? Hydron with the overclock will make sure this damage sticks. M80 continuing to hold. 1 minute and 20 seconds to go. Another a clean team kill, Matt. And Luminosity going for another reset. Used a lot in that fight too. They got a beat and a Terror Surge maybe to win it out. Not sure they're going to get much more than this in this round.
And although it's a losing fight for Luminosity, I thought it was actually like much more competitive of a fight than playing that Zarya. Like Dante was quickly able to get to the back line, force out a Suzu, Swift Step, make it pretty challenging on Ultraviolet and Lep, as it'll be sound barriers for both teams. They both have to come down pretty perfectly.
Pelican didn't want to go too deep there. Forced a recall, still has a pulse bomb. Doesn't need to worry about bubbles either this time. Senses that Luminosity had taken that high ground. Spidey senses were correct. M80 not wanting to go down without a fight, though. The longer they contest on the high ground, too, the longer that payload takes moving back. Worth keeping in mind, it's still slowly rounding that corner once again. Pelican being so patient as well, knows that maybe he could just make this the last fight. Terror Surge hits 3, there's the stick, but the sound barrage comes out just in time. Dante's still pretty low, so ends up backing towards the payload, Matt, as Lep ends up using his sound barrier pretty late. And now Hawk and the rest of the gang could just charge on in. It's up to Luminosity now to try and get to the payload in time to get the touch. 5 seconds to go as Lep is just corralling the entirety of Luminosity into this underground subway station, and it's up to King now to try and get the touch and maintain it there. So he wasn't really in that fight at all. King, Dante, they're gone. Luminosity halted right there, and M80 will solidify this series 2-0.
Yeah, and I think I know towards the end it's the later sound barrier there for M80, which is huge. And I also think just doing a great job in like that Orisa versus Orisa head-to-head. It seems like Hawk knows exactly when to like pop spear spin, when to kind of like get aggressive, I know push on through. Seems to be doing a great job kind of holding those big cooldowns with the Fortify and the Spear to get aggressive as rather than to use them to just kind of take space.
Yeah, Hawk's Orisa is just phenomenal, honestly, this whole series. And also the support ult timings, like you just mentioned there. Normally the latest sound barrier does end up winning it out. Luminosity felt like, oh, we can just flood here, we can try and get to the back line. They sound barrier Dante as he got stuck on the Orisa. He pulled 3 people in with a Terror Surge, but then he just got focused down. Every single defensive cooldown was used to try and keep Dante alive, and it just wasn't enough. And then the later beat, then they could just basically chase him, chase him down to the subway, and well, that's GG. The gates were closed. It doesn't matter if you got a ticket because you're going home, or they might go home. I mean, this could be a 3-0, Matt. It's not looking as close as I envisioned it be.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think you see, you know, just from some of the highlights, like there's just, you know, when the bubbles come out, there's almost like no, you know, typically you wouldn't want to shoot the Zarya bubbles, right? It's almost like, you know, when Dante uses them on himself, it like doesn't even matter, just like blow them up, like, and then you feel like, you know, Hawk is just going to live for so much longer. It's that Vision with that first pick.
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
No, really, I mean, Vision and King had to go crazy, you know, with win that first pick, and then King obviously, you know, going, you know, crazy on the Tracer to get that first point. And then once we got here towards the second part of the map, I thought you saw the difference between both sides, right? Where, you know, Luminosity let, you know, M80 take so much space. M80 did not give up that space, played from the high ground, jumped down, got aggressive, played at that first corner, and ended up bleeding tons of clock doing so.
Yeah, their macro game is really, really nice. Just continually holding that high ground, forcing that payload back too. I mean, you have to then fight us on height, and then you have to drop to then touch. It's not a matter of we're just going to play around the point, and it did force the point quite a fair distance back too. It almost went under the bridge again. So yeah, really nice macro play from M80 thus far. And Luminosity, man, they just might go down to the lowest right here. M80 want to go up against Toronto Defiant in the next stage of the bracket. Some stats on your screen, of course, all going to be pretty close. KDA is obviously the winning team, is going to be a little bit higher. And I think that's only going to get exemplified in our third map coming up. Because, yeah, this is not that close. It's really not. Map 1 was closer, but map 2, not so much. M80 steamrolled their attack, it felt like, Matt.
Yeah, and I wonder if you don't want to play the Orisa head-to-head and the Zarya is not working, like what you potentially could do if you are Luminosity, like what you potentially could go for. We've seen teams even opt for like Sigma, right? Some like more longer range poke style comps. So maybe here in Colosseo you're able to do that. I do feel like though that the Orisa is just so fast. You're able to just kind of like run the Sigma down, and then the Sigma's not able to live, right? So probably the downside of that. Yeah,
the Sigma comp, it very much requires a special map, or like Circuit, or a map you can play slower. I just don't think Colosseo is really like that. Could, you know, it could play it, but I feel like the way M80 are playing right now, how quick they're playing and how much Hawk just wants to kind of get up in your face and know the targets too. I mean, a lot of the time you are trying to force out the Sojourn. You're trying to force her to use slides, and then you can just run at her and kill her. And it's been hard for even Dante on the Zarya to keep Vision alive. Although it wouldn't surprise me if Zarya was the pick here for Luminosity. A very comfortable hero for Dante, and a hero he's been historically extremely good on too. And that's just their style of play currently. And, you know, if you are down in a series like this, go into a comfort, go into something that you know you have a lot of trust in, it's probably going to be a better choice here.
Yeah, and this is a Luminosity map pick, right?
Right.
You know, not tons of selection here. I know in push, right? But still, I know we got a coin flip of you know, 1 or 2 maps once we get one out of the pool. So, Colosseo, it feels like, you know, you kind of feel you can win this like 50-50 battle here at, you know, midfield, so to speak, right? Versus, you know, Esperanza, we typically see way more of the map, where, you know, Colosseo, like, you know, typically here, you know, that first high ground, and that's about it.
Yeah, you can definitely play a little bit slower here if you are the Zarya. Good spear. Straight after a body shot landed on the Sojourn. But now with both bubbles down, yeah, Hawk knows it. Just pressing WM1. Now it's to back up himself. Oh, Leb randomly goes down to just a random kunai headshot. That's not good. That's all your heals pretty much done and done. Well, your speed, sorry, done and dusted. That's bad for the Zarya, or bad for the Orisa, sorry. Payload moving. Luminosity with a very, very nice early pick from Squid, and they will get the payload on its way. And being able to hold this corner too is going to be really nice for Dante, and actually forces M80 to go for a swap. Going over to the Monkey now instead of that Orisa.
Yeah, a Winston pick here for M80, so maybe it's just a little bit easier to even access that back line, you know, put some pressure. And when we've seen the Orisa get in and then not able to get out, it's very difficult, where Winston's a little bit more mobility. As Hawk down to 100 HP is going to get healed right back up, as it'll be M80 now in control of the bot.
Good dive there from Hawk. Also separates the heals from the rest of the team too. Maybe forces Dante to use an extra bubble on himself or one of the healers. Just way more mobile on that hero and on the comp too.
High ground already controlled here by M80 though. So, as I say, that high ground slides off, but you know, trying to grab that like you know, upper perch. It feels like if you can't control that, you kind of like let them come down and play on that even ground. But Vision finds a shot on the ultraviolet, so that's going to force M80 to back up. You cannot fight this without your Kariko, especially, you know, with the Kariko with Kitsune Rush.
Yeah, this feeling like textbook Colosseo right now. Ah, the Sojourn got a pick. We reset. Ah, our Sojourn got a pick. Ah, we push. Textbook Colosseo mid fights. Not further than this archway. Neither teams have moved that bot. Rush has been pulled by both teams though. Vision trying to get back to the rest of the squad, but I mean Dante's just got to be an absolute menace in the front line, even more so now with that sound barrier coming out. This ends now, says Hydron, but where are the kills? Nothing in the kill feed so far. Pulse bomb thrown out, Suzu used there on Dante and Juby to make sure they stay up and alive. A later overclock here from Vision, still hunting and finding the Lucio. Not quite enough to find the kill on Talep, but that Graviton surge from Dante should seal the deal on this push. Hawk just standing in the front line, trying to juggle that bot, is no match for the grab.
And I'd love to know what M80, you know, what their kind of thinking is here with, you know, bringing in the Winston. It hasn't looked bad, but also like in the Orisa, Zarya, Amir, they've been able to win like pretty consistently, right? Maybe it's just an extremely long kind of like, you know, gap in sightline that you have to close on Colosseo, right? Like creating so much space that it becomes so costly for the Orisa to get a, you know, close that gap. Maybe that's why you feel like you need a little bit more mobility, but no, they actually kind of take the bot, where it looked like Luminosity backed out for just a brief second. It looks like Pelican just started escorting the bot the other way.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, wow, Luminosity aren't, why were they not pushing there? But yeah, Pelican just stole the bot.
Pelican just ran away.
Yeah, he just kind of walked. All right, I respect it. Okay. Primal Rage available from Hawk now. Might be a bit of a problem, especially as one bubble's already been used. Speaking of which, there's two. There's the Primal. Oh, that Pulse Bomb as well. The connection onto Juby is good. And that Primal Rage is doing so much work in the front line. The problem is with the Zarya comp too as well, Matt. You do need to be an LOS of your Zarya to receive those bubbles. So as soon as Hawk sees one, maybe two go down, right, he can just jump in with Primal and start just trying to get the Sojourn out of here, or get even the Kiriko out of there as well if they've used their Swift Step already. It's really tough for the Zarya when your entire team is kind of scattered everywhere and you've got to prioritize your bubbles correctly.
Yeah, this feels like a must-win fight as well for Luminosity, and they lose Juby right at the start, and he's got the sound barrier. I mean, that is massive. If Lep wants to, could throw this one in here for M80, secure that checkpoint, but probably not even necessary.
Yeah, I don't think so. They should be able to juggle touch here. Hawk's going super low, but I think the bomb might be a little bit too far forward. No, it's not. Dante can still sit on the edge here just to make sure it is contested. And so it doesn't look like M80 are going to push up and try and take it. They're going to back up just a little bit, wait for Luminosity to come to them. Vision going super aggressive, jumping onto that high ground. And then the overclock has been pulled. Same with Hydron. Well, high ground advantage is very much in Hydron's favor, but Vision not too scared. Jumps up there with the sound barrier. However, that robot has been stolen once again, Matt. Oh, good grab.
Yeah, but it's going to be a beat here potentially for Lap as they're not able to save Hydron, so they end up losing that Sojourn. The bot goes briefly the other direction, but
it's been stolen again.
M80. Yep, it's going back towards your way. Look at this. Luminosity just has to run.
There's no way. Can they get checkpoint?
Are you going to get checkpoint?
Oh, no, not quite. That would have been egregious from Pelican there, stealing the bot that far to get checkpoint.
But still, winning that fight there, like, and keeping the bot moving in your direction for Luminosity gets you probably closer to tying the game, you know, in terms of like meters on the board. But because the bot goes all the way the other direction, you're going to be at this like nasty spot where nobody really wants to fight, like pushing into the opposing team's high ground.
Yeah, they're just going to play on the bridge, wait for a pick with a railgun. How about the overclock, sadly? There's the rush from Squid. Almost instantly falls prey to it himself. And to going down to Pelican. Nice little dive there. I mean, MAC's dive looks so nasty just on paper in terms of name value, but I mean, it's put into practice right there, and then Squid's the perfect target to take down as Luminosity have to get out of there.
That is a brutal turn of events there for Luminosity, right? As I mean, gets even worse. This potentially looked like you could have, gotten some bot progress. Pelican escorts the other way. Then you kind of get back towards that midfield area. You lose that fight, and then the next one you lose your Sojourn right off the rip. So this is going to bring that bot all the way back to a spot though that they will be able to contest from this high ground. We'll see how M80 decides to try and break this.
Yeah, the
probably love to use this rush up on the bridge.
It's so strong. Soundbar from Juby did hit everybody on Luminosity's side, but doesn't like that bot eventually hit that checkpoint, so they can't perma contest anymore. 67 meters and counting now as that overclock from Vision tries to find any value. Oh, the collat! Pelican and Lev falls to the collat after that bubble just dissipates. Oh my word. Feels like an age since we've seen one of those as well. Good shot from Vision. That cleans up the team, but M80 still have the lead and the checkpoint.
I mean, you get checkpoint for M80, which is massive, and then Luminosity still has to push through this extremely difficult area where, look at this, I mean, the high ground control already favors M80, where typically teams don't want to push into this. They'd rather have like M80 push the bot back to that choke, fight more towards where that bot spawns, like a little bit, closer to this side of the map, and then try and get that push. But they're kind of forced into this really awkward situation where they have to fight.
All right, Hydron wants to clip for twinning out. Pulse bomb, that's way off mark. Oh, that was close. Squid takes a railgun to the head. Now, once again, Pelican has stolen the bot, but it looks like Hydron's going to be the target focus here for Luminosity, but they can't quite get their hands on him. It's so hard. I mean, it looked like Hydron had multiple slides there, like multiple charges on the power slide, but it was just the sound barrier, the speed boost, and just being a very, very slippery Sojourn, just making sure he can stay alive in these fights. And Luminosity unable to pin that Soj down means M80 control the bot again. They can get it moving past this checkpoint, get it forward spawns, and they're in a good spot to win this map, Matt.
Yeah, this is where it becomes incredibly punishing on push, right? Luminosity gonna have to invest into these fights, but also probably win like 3 in a row. And if they don't win one of those fights, the bot goes all the way back to the start. We will have Vision coming in on like Cassidy here, probably a little bit more of a defensive pick than the Sojourn, but also like with some of the sight lines, it's definitely gonna favor the Sojourn.
Oh, 100%. There's the rush on the bot. Graviton Surge hits UV. No Suzu available. Wasn't even in his own rush, sadly. There's the cash coming up dividends, but that's more Dante picking up that kill. Sound barrier for Juby's good here, but Squid ended up going down, and now Vision the target. Where's the bubbles for Dante? Must be out of them already. And now M80, all they really need to do, Matt, is stall. 72 meters to 48. Luminosity has to invest into that fight to get the win. win, but it's M80. They can now just defend here on this bridge, on this high ground. And honestly, I don't think they're even going to do that. They're going to play the mid fight again.
Yeah, and the more clock they burn here, the better, right? I know they're going to end up building towards, I know, some support ultimates here. You see Pelican with this pulse bomb just trying to force out, like, maybe some of the Zarya bubbles where they have about 3 fights here to work with M80.
Pulse bomb for Pelican in his hands, as well as Dante just continually getting peppered in the back. And now, with Squid dead already, that's the 3rd fight in a row. It feels like he's fallen over. That pulse bomb didn't find kill, but it found massive damage. Hydron's got the overclock in 10% as well. I mean, this high noon's going to buy some a little bit of space, a little bit of time, but where Squid needs to get back into this fight, the health bars for Luminosity, they're bleeding, and they might just be bleeding out here. M80 coming up with the kills. A 3-0 in their sights, and Luminosity Gaming will fall. The overclock is just the cherry on top as M80 advance in the upper brackets.
Yeah, extremely strong performance from M80. Luminosity also put up a pretty good fight. It's just right there on Coliseo. Just some really tough positions they had to kind of like push into, go and make a play. There at the end, they actually used the Dante is incredibly low. They used the Deadeye to kind of like buy his space and keep him alive. But still, you're in such a horrible position, like underneath that bridge. It's really difficult to push on through. So M80, specifically on Coliseo, did a great job just kind of using those positional advantages and securing the map.
Yeah, they look really solid, like super solid right now. And the Orisa comp looked fantastic, and then switching over to the dive too. They still got a lot of tools in their arsenal, a very, very flexible squad. Not a series that I thought would go this way. I thought it would at least go to a 4 maps, maybe 5. Like, Luminosity, they got something to say, I'd imagine, especially in that losers bracket run. Maybe they can still make it, though. Tough competition down there. Hop over to the desk, though. Guys, what did you think about that series? A little closer, right? Than a little more one-sided, sorry, than what we first anticipated.
A little closer.
Not closer. The other side, the other way.
I feel like although the score is 3-0, I think Luminosity have bright moments, and I think they did have a lot of great fights as well. I think it was 3-0, but at the end of the day, but throughout the match, I think they put up a really good fight, and they had some really good moments as well.
Yeah, I think from an individual player skill perspective, they were very competitive. I do feel like the Zarya lacking anything that challenges Orisa positionally, right? Zarya does put out a ton of damage, but there wasn't that obvious ally bubble target hero that you tend to kind of want with Orisa, especially with that lower cooldown on ally bubbles. And at the same time, there's nothing to hold down the Orisa when she's shoving through your team. You can't really stand your ground against her. You need to back up, and sometimes that pushes you off crucial corners. They were able to find big grabs, big value off some of those plays, so it wasn't entirely hopeless for me, but I do feel like compositionally, M80 just a little bit stronger, especially on the Orisa and the Winston. Both of them great responses to Zarya.
Yeah, it felt like a lot of times when we were watching Dante, especially there on Coliseo, he just did like a 180 and like shot backwards trying to peel for his team on the Zarya, because you could just throw out the Zarya bubbles and kind of hope that your team lives throughout the dive. But in general though, I think that Vision had a really good game for Luminosity. Even though you lost 3-0, there were some serious standout moments on the side of Luminosity. So I think you're right, Danny. It was a 3-0, but in spirit, it more felt like it was a really competitive series, especially here on Midtown. It was a good map between both sides here. I do agree with you, you couldn't really accomplish that much with the Zarya. Obviously, it should make sense, the idea of it. But also on the side of Pelican, you got to give Pelican some credit as well. With ping issues, of course, playing this series anyway. The amount of impact that Pelican had on the Tracer, finding picks, post-bomb picks like this one, for example, just massive value all the time. And the rotations were really good. Ultraviolet, I think, had a good game on the Kiriko as well. Managed to get to the back line, utilize the kunais aggressively, and that helps out the team as well. So overall, what we expected from M80, and it's a bit of a shame that it wasn't more competitive from Luminosity, but they had some bright moments throughout the series.
If anything, though, this is great for M80 going forward into the upper bracket, wanting to continue to be a threat and challenge Toronto's dominance so far in the North American region. M80 definitely making a case for themselves here. And as you mentioned, Pelican, I want to highlight that, right? I can understand on high ping, the Tracer can still produce value, still find kills, like pulse bombs and things like that. But when it comes to staying alive and controlling the objective well, I'm really surprised that Pelican was still able to do that to this level. He wasn't feeling the ping.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I think Pelican killed it, but also we got to give credit to Hawk as well. On that Orisa, he was lethal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
really good on the Orisa. The rotations we saw coming through, you know, the coordination with your Lucio to like the pull back and forth. Like, okay, the Zarya used a couple of bubbles. We'll use this time to turn the tables and push aggressively. And also, you know, I can give some credit to Hawk on the Winston. Give some credit to Hawk on the Winston.
Right? Like the Orisa, maybe it's expected for Hawk to be one of the best Orisas in North America. Whenever it comes to those high deathmatch aim skill heroes, I know Hawk is going to perform
Are they
at
showing
the
that
elite level.
javelin right here? Oh, no.
I mean, but the Winston, Hawk has been in the lab on this hero. I think he has felt playing so many metas against elite level competition that in the end, you have to be a great Winston to really be among the elite tanks. This hero always comes back, and a player like Hawk, I think, who wants to command the full role and not just be only there for the off tank, the Winston practice is showing.
Primal mechanics?
He is looking really good, and with the primals, with the jumps, everything about the hero is dialed right here, and that is going to be super crucial, I think, over the course of the year. It's almost inevitable that Winston will make an appearance in the meta. This hero is just so high skill. So well played by Hawk, well-deserved player of the match.
I mean, well-deserved win as well for M80. We want to hear more from M80, so we have a post-match interview with Pelican.
Danny, go over there.
Yes, sir. I'm walking. All right, Pelican, our DPS player from M80 is here with me for a quick interview and quick chat. Pelican, big congratulations on getting the win. Please say hi before we get started. 자, 일단 승리 축하드리면서 인사 한번 해주세요, 시원하게.
Hello, I'm Pelican.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, your English is getting better. 영어가 좀 더 느신 것 같은데? No?
아닙니다.
Oh, he says no, but I know that he's been practicing his English. So maybe in the future we'll do an English interview. All right, let's jump right into the interview. So I know last time we talked, you were sort of debating if you wanted to continue playing or continue competing, but we're seeing you here now, and it's such a joy to see you, and you've been killing it. So how is it like playing in the OWCS, competing again? 자, 일단 저희가 마지막 얘기를 나눴을 때 다시 좀 경기를 뛸까 말까 고민을 하셨던 걸로 기억을 하는데 이제 다시 돌아오셔서 또 너무나도 좋은 성적을 계속 내고 있기 때문에 지금 우리 오버워치 챔피언스에서 이렇게 경기에 뛰는 거에 대해서 좀 어떠신가요? 소감 말씀 부탁드릴게요.
원래는 이번에 뛸 생각이 없었는데 또 이제 좋은 기회를 줘가지고 다시 한번 또 프로하게 돼서 또 네, 한편으로는 마음이 좀 좋습니다.
Yeah. To be honest, when I first for coming into this year, I didn't really think about competing, but I mean, I had a good opportunity with M80, so I'm very thankful for this opportunity, and it really feels good to be back playing and also competing as well. And talking about playing, I know that you are still in Korea. You are playing on ping. Guessing that it's very difficult, but for you, how difficult is it? 자, 방금 좀 경기 얘기도 하고 해서 지금 아무래도 좀 아직까지 한국에 계시기 때문에 좀 아무래도 경기를 뛰는 게 조금 더 어렵지 않나 생각을 하는데 좀 얼마나 좀 어떤 어려움들이 있나요?
일단 트레이서가 핑에 또 이제 제일 중요한데 을무사가 제일 많이 나는 게 제일 힘들고 근데 뭐 너무 쉬워가지고 오늘은 딱히 문제 없었던 것 같아.
Yeah, right. It's definitely because I'm playing a lot of Tracer, and having a good ping is very important for a Tracer. And when you're playing on ping with that hero, there's sometimes deaths that occur that you don't really know how that happened. But today it didn't really matter because it was sort of an easy win. Loving that confidence. One last question. Tomorrow is a very important game. You guys are going up against Toronto Defiant. They're another a giant team. So how do you think that's going to be played out? 자, 내일 토론토의 경기가 있는데 아무래도 토론토도 굉장히 잘하는 팀이기 때문에 지금 경기 어떠실 것 같으신가요?
토론토 물론 잘하긴 하는데 어제 약팀들 상대로 이렇게 힘들어하는 거 보니까 저희가 쉽게 이길 것 같아요.
They're definitely a good team, but I've seen their matches. They were struggling with some of those weaker teams, so I think it's going to be an easy win. Pelican, thank you so much. That is it for the interview. Good luck moving forward. 자, 이걸로 인터뷰 마치겠습니다. 감사합니다.
안녕, 세연아.
안녕, 세연아.
Easy win, huh?
Easy win.
I mean, it was, right? Like, in the end, there were some close moments, but each map went pretty decisively in the favor of M80. I feel like I still put respect on the players on LG, and they did put up a good performance. But